and I just run around, telling people, this is what I do. Do you need a violin player?
Welcome to Grace Unfiltered. We are here with Aaron Meyer, and we are doing a meet and greet, as we're calling it, because eventually it would be great to have him right here in the studio, but his schedule has been pretty crazy. You've been in Europe for the last several weeks, doing 5 different countries, as I understand, and you're soon going to be going throughout Oregon, going to vineyards and performing there and various venues and Bend and others where you're going to be working with these young aspiring musicians. So there's a lot on your plate, and we're just glad that we can at least connect remotely for now. And what I would love to see, Aaron, is to have you bring your violin here in the studio sometime and play, if that would be a possibility.
Sure.
So I thought that would be fun, and that way we can actually have a across the table conversation, which I much prefer over meeting somebody, especially for the first time on camera. But what I guess we need to do is kind of just, in your words, tell us who you are and describe how you got in the music world and take it from there. And I'm sure I'll have questions to follow up with.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm a concert rock violinist. I take classical music and rock music. I combine them. I've been working on this style of music for over 25 years. I'm trained classically. My father taught classical violin in our home, and he taught 6.5 days a week, and I was one of his students. And he taught kids every day. They came into the house, they went out of the house, and I was around classical music and the violin, my whole life. So I just sort of assumed everybody played the violin, but that was my life. And I had a goal when I was 5 years old to win a competition to play with the Philadelphia Orchestra. And I got to do that when I was 11 years old. I grew up in Philadelphia, and I got to play with this amazing orchestra, and sort of violin was my life. And I did it all the way through high school, and then I went into college. And after the first year at college, I thought, maybe this isn't for me. I don't know if I should do this. There's a lot of other good violin players, and I'm not sure I should do this. And I decided that I wasn't going to pursue it professionally, and I changed course, and I ended up finding a school out in Portland, Oregon called Lewis and Clark College, and I went there, and that brought me out west from, Philadelphia via Indiana University, where I started in the violin program.
Indiana, that's where I'm from.
Is that right? Where at?
How long were you in Indiana? Where were you at? I'm just curious.
Bloomington,
Oh,
IU.
okay, IU. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm actually northern Indiana,
Okay, yeah, and I'm playing in Kokomo.
Amish
Kokomo.
country.
Yeah. I'm playing in Kokomo in May
Okay,
2026. Yeah.
yeah, Kokomo.
Kokomo. Yeah,
It's like the Beach Boys song, right?
I guess.
Working
Came out
music
to
into it.
Oregon, and graduated college, and then needed to find a job, and the only thing I really knew how to do was play the violin, and just sort of stumbled back into it as a hey, I'll just do this just because I don't know what else to do. And started playing with a local band, Pick Martini from Portland, that has gone on to do all sorts of really wonderful things. And then played with some other local folks around here, and just sort of, thought, I probably won't, make a living at this, but it's kind of fun. And started doing my own project, and classical was my thing, but I always loved rock music, and classic rock, Led Zeppelin and
Hmm.
the Grateful Dead, and that kind of music. And just started doing it, honestly thinking that this would never go anywhere, and it's just a temporary thing, and it's fun. But my dad taught violin, and played violin, and I did both of those things my whole life. I've been teaching violin since I was 15. And it just sort of started to fall into place. Somebody asked me if I could teach their kid, or if I could play at their wedding, or if I could do this, or if I could do that. And I worked with a couple other, local bands, and I don't know, one thing led to another. And next thing I knew, I was, just sort of, you know, getting work coming towards me, and um, uh, I just kept following it and kept combining the classical music and the rock music, and then started to take it a little bit more seriously and started a Christmas concert series. And, um, you know, each year things kind of grew. And fortunately, I had people that wanted to help me musically, because I knew how to play the violin, but I didn't know how to write music. I didn't know how to record music. And I didn't really know how to promote music. I just was, sort of fearless, and I just run around, telling people, this is what I do. Do you need a violin player?
I think it's
Uh,
interesting that it wasn't like your dream because you grew up in it. You kind of took it for granted, and it's like you mentioned earlier. I just thought everybody did this,
yeah,
and it's kind of like my background. I grew up in a rural area, and I just thought everybody lived on in the country, and their dad farmed, and and there was a time in our history as a country that was true, but
right.
not so much, when I grew up. But it's interesting. So it wasn't your dream, it wasn't your goal. You were probably doing something else to make a living, and then all of a sudden, what was that catalyst again that said you? It was encouragement from other people that were
Pretty much. Yeah. I
basically
mean,
saying,
like I started doing it, and I started, just making enough money to, live very simply and frugally. And I just always thought that I would end up doing something else because, like, this wasn't a real job. And, I got a teaching degree from Portland State University while I was doing all of this. I just never thought it would really pan out into anything that I could do for real. Um, and while I pursued a teaching degree, I kept all this stuff going, and I just continued to teach violin. And in the beginning, when I didn't have a following, I played at weddings, and I went to the Portland Bridal Show and advertised myself as a wedding violinist. And the next thing you know, you're making, okay, well, I can pay my bills, I can pay my rent, I can buy food, pay my car insurance. I just sort of kept doing it, never thinking that it was really going to pan out. And then I had a guitar player named Bill Lamb who was interested in helping me figure out some music to play. He had some success in with Warner Brothers and the record business, and he was 20 years older than me, and for fun he thought he'd help me. So he did, and I just started getting, more opportunities. People would see me playing out and about, and one thing that led to another, and I was, networking in Portland, and it's not that hard to network in Portland as a musician. There's a lot going on, and it's easy to figure out who's
mm-hmm.
booking what and doing what. And I started a Christmas concert series, and people wanted to come to that, and I had a lot of good mentors,
yeah.
which helped me.
Well, and you had the talent, obviously.
Yes, yeah.
So do you think that had you not come to Portland, because Portland's kind of a fertile place for artists, a fertile place for anyone that's aspiring to do anything artistically. Do you think that was a big contributing factor?
Maybe,
Just
maybe not. I don't
yeah,
know. I mean, God had that all figured out
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
so I didn't, I don't know.
yeah.
I think that that's obviously where he wanted me, so that's
Mm-hmm,
where I
mm-hmm,
was.
mm-hmm,
And you know, it just sort of worked. I think Portland is a really, really cool place, um, for artistic people. So it's got quite a large, interesting artsy
mm-hmm.
community for its size. Um, and it's always been good to me, and it was a good place for me, and it led me to meet my wife,
Mm-hmm.
um, who I'm glad I met her.
Yeah. So she's from Portland. She's a Portland native.
She's not. She's
Oh,
from
she's
Long
not.
Island, New York.
Okay.
But I had to move all the way to Portland to meet a nice, Philly boy. I had to move all the way to Portland, Oregon Oregon to meet a nice, girl from Long Island.
Huh.
And I met her, and she's been the best thing for me. I've been really supportive of the music, and she loves music. She was a professional ice skater and danced to
Oh,
classical
wow.
music and loved classical music, and heard lots of violin. And she's just been a big champion of what I do, and has had a lot of great ideas and supported me,
Hmm.
in all kinds of ways. Um, and then she eventually led me to Christ, which has
Oh,
been
wow. So
the best
this,
the best
yeah.
move that ever happened in my life. And since coming to Christ 6 years ago, some really great things have happened, emotionally, spiritually, personally, and professionally.
Well, it sounds like the last 6 years have been similar to our last 6 years. My wife and I, we got married. I actually moved out to Portland 6 years ago. After we married, we met through adoption. My brother adopted two boys from Ethiopia, and we share nephews. But she moved to Portland, and as they say, the rest is history. But we've been on a pretty interesting Portland journey ourselves. So so anyway, congratulations to you, and it's so good to hear that you're a brother in Christ. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, so life has changed drastically. So you did. So you've been together for 6 years,
No,
or
we've
you
been
got married
together for 20 years.
20 years. You
So she
you got
had
married
to,
6 years.
she was a Christian and I was not, and she prayed for me for a long time.
So she kind of held out for that transformation, so to speak.
She somehow knew that I would come to Christ, and
Wow,
despite all my disobedience, she was right.
wow, patient. You got a
Extremely.
patient one for sure.
Mm,
Well, I understand the value and the blessing of a godly wife myself. So,
mm.
and that certainly has been greatly appreciated. So I hear what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. I've experienced what you're saying. Anyway, um, so when I hear you talk about what you do musically, I think of Trans Siberian Orchestra. That's what comes to my mind. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's along the right, a description. Um, they take classical instruments and rock instruments and combine them together. They're a little bit on the, more metally side of rock music. We don't really incorporate metal music, but we take rock music like, Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, or Kashmir, Led Zeppelin, or Toto, Africa, or Muse, Starlight by Muse, a variety of rock music, from over the last 40 years, 50 years. And we combine that with classical music. We love to inspire kids, and in all of our performances, no matter wherever we go, we travel all around the Pacific Northwest. Newport, Oregon, Hood River, Central Oregon, Walla Walla,
Mm,
Corvallis. Anywhere that we go in the Pacific Northwest, we invite young people to perform with us. Anyone that's performing on violin, viola, cello,
mm,
drums, bass, guitar, keyboards, those seven instruments make up the band instrumentation of a concert rock band. Again, we're taking classical music and rock music, we're fusing them together. We have this music education program called Concert Rock Academy, and we invite young people to come and perform with us on stage. That's one of the parts of our program that we're most proud about, is
mm,
bringing kids on the stage, giving them a real live performance experience, and mentoring them to prepare for that concert. So they play they play parts that are for our specific concert rock arrangements of the repertoire and material that we play. We send them all the music ahead of time and the practice tools, and they learn all the music, and then they meet us and come up on stage and rock out with us. And We also help with lessons and instruments and going into schools and doing demos and creating online practice resources and tools, all sorts of,
Hmm.
really fun music education, um, projects and tools.
So,
So
what are
that's
the
what
ages of the kids generally?
they're all ages. We have, between 6 and 20.
Hmm.
And we have some real beginners and we have some extremely advanced kids, and we've got parts that accommodate to all of them. So, it's a wide range of styles and different instruments, and you're bringing kids from two different kinds of worlds, the sort of symphony orchestra over
Hmm.
here, the classical world, and then sort of the garage band, and we're mixing together. We're finding a way to fuse them together. It's eclectic music. We take, Mozart, The Marriage of Figaro, which is, super mathematical, Mozart music, and we make it, arranged for a rock band with two electric guitars and a violin and drum
School
and
of
bass.
Rock. It's like the School of Rock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. And then grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad, they're all there, or do you have a recording of it and then send that out to them,
Typically, it's a
or
live
have it?
performance, and
Okay,
everybody comes to the performance.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not recorded. It's, if you're going to see this, you got to come.
Exactly. Yeah. And we
Good.
do bring kids into the recording studio and get them involved, learning and actually playing. And we do a lot of different things. We have a website, concertrockacademy.com. It explains everything that we do. And there's all sorts of really cool promotional videos produced by a company called Fordham Films.
Hey, shout out to Derek. All right, Derek.
Thank you, Aaron.
We have to shout out to Eric because Eric's behind the control panel
Yes.
over here. Yeah.
Derek's been a real Fordham Films, and Derek have been a big part of what we've done. These films, an immense amount of material. We produced an hour-long Christmas special in 2021 that's been shown in various markets all around the United States. It was a really fun project, and Derek did an amazing job and has been extremely helpful and supportive of what we do.
He's been extremely helpful to us as well. So,
He's a good man.
dittos. Yeah, he is. We appreciate you, Derek.
All right, enough
Can you
talking.
tell?
Back to.
Yeah, anyway. He's also a bit shy,
Thank
too,
you, though.
and humble. Why don't you tell us about Practice Like a Rock Star on your website?
Sure. Yeah. If you end up going to my website, which is aaronmeyer.com, it's my name, you'll see a tab at the very top on the navigation called Concert Rock Academy. If you click on that, you'll see one of our projects is called Practice Like a Rock Star. It is an online application, web-based application to help students who are interested in learning in the concert rock style of music. So it's geared towards kids, young people who play violin, viola, cello, drums, bass, guitar, and keyboards, seven instruments. And we started by focusing on very beginner songs for anyone who plays any one of these instruments. So you would click on the website and the link to the website, and the name of the website is practicelikearockstar.com. And then you'll see songs, and then you click on that, and then you would see a list of the instruments. You pick the instrument that you play, and that'll pop up, and you pick one of the songs. So if you're a beginner and you want to play Hot Cross Buns, you click on that. And what pops up are five videos, a big one, and then four videos below it with different angles of the instrumentalist. And below that is an online digital mixer that has a track for each of the instruments and a click. So you can hit play and hear all the audio and watch all the video, and it's all streaming and linked together. And then you could change any one of the five video angles. So you're looking at the guitar player from up above, or this
Hmm.
angle, or his hands, or his fretboard. We have five different camera angles, and then you can mute or solo any one of the instruments to hear the whole band playing, or just hear your instrument like the guitar. Or if you want to hear guitar and the click only, you can do that. It gives you lots of
Hmm.
options. And this is a practice and motivational tool for beginner students. We also included scales and arpeggios, and we're starting to add more advanced content for more advanced players. Lots of fun, very easy to use.
Hmm.
we've had a lot of fun making it, and it's been a 5-year project. But practicelikearockstar.com, click, jump on there and click around, and it's easy to use.
Hmm. And then they would, if they were interested in lessons as well, they, because I understand you do private lessons as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, we offer lessons to, we support families that need financial assistance with lessons and instruments, and we match teachers up with students and families. And it's been a lot of fun to get to know the families and the kids and
That's
assist them
neat.
in that way.
And being a nonprofit, that helps, and it kind of lends itself to do that.
Yeah, and the more people that come to our concerts, they find out about what we're doing and how we're helping people, and they want to help us help other families and young people.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like people should go to that website because it sounds like it's very interactive and user friendly.
I
So,
think it's fun. Yeah,
yeah. Well, thanks for that tour of your website.
you bet.
So, I think we'll wrap things up for now, but it's definitely not for good, but for now.
Right.
So, we'd love to have you come back, and we look forward to that. Thanks, Aaron.
You bet.